I'm that Stone Kid. Welcome back to my craptastic videos that I stopped making for 6 months. So, pray for me. I know you probably missed me, but nobody missed you, Alex. Everybody hates you. When are you finally gonna... You better shut up. I swear to God, I'll lock you up too. So, that was just my inner feelings. So, today I'm excited. Well, not really excited, because I'm looking at the first Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, like it's actually said. Not any of this Sorcerer's Stone BS, but So, a little bit of backstory behind this. I read this about 2 years ago. 2 years ago, and I don't remember every little bit of it. And honestly, I didn't like it. One bit, like, there was bits I liked, but, like, there was nothing I found exciting. Like, I could see why people liked it, but, like, I never thought it was like, oh, wow, like, I like this with my sisters. Like, my sister loves Harry Potter. And she's got all the books, she's got a crap ton of collectibles. So I just kind of stole it from her, and I was like, you know what, I don't really talk to Katie very much, I'm gonna read them. Bad friggin' mistake that was. But the first book, just the first book, like my sister kind of warned me, it's like, Alex, the first book's not that good. The second, the third, the fourth, they get progressively better, And I was like, you know what, fine, I'll suffer through the first one. But don't go around saying, I like this, don't like this book. I like this book. It's not that great, but there was sometimes that made me want to look longingly at a tube drain cleaner for about 20 minutes. Like there was a solid 20 pages where it was just like, what? So, we're not going to go around here thinking about, man, Alex really likes to bitch about this book. Well, I don't really. I'm kind of sad that I didn't like it, but my tastes have changed. Over quarantine, I read the second Harry Potter book, The Chamber of Secrets. Loved it. Read it in like a week. Loved it. Then I read Prisoner of Azkaban. Didn't like that as much as the second book. That's a very unpopular opinion, but didn't like it as much as the second book. And now I'm like 3/4 through the fourth book, maybe 80%. But I agree with they get better throughout time, which I think is a very great thing, because I really wanted to like these books. So, yeah, we're not going to get around with me bitching and moaning about it. So let's move on to the story. Let's go, boys. And tonight I'm drinking mug root beer. It is not as good as I remember from my childhood. It is not, just that, Okay, moving right along. So we all know what this book's about. You all know, and I actually like the beginning. I really like the beginning. It sets up a lot. So, our main character, well not main character, he's one of the main characters, Harry's abusive uncle, Uncle Vernon Dursley, that's his last name, freaking idiot he is. So, the first couple chapters are told from his perspective, in which he leaves for work, and a lot of people in weird robes are around chanting that the Dark Lord is gone. He doesn't really quite understand this, but kind of shrugs it off as, oh yeah, crazy people being crazy people. But also, he sees a cat, what he thinks is a cat holding a map. And when he kind of does like a quick double take, he realizes that the cat's not holding anything. That's a Hogwarts teacher. That is Minerva McGonagall, who is an Animagus, who can turn into a human to a cat at will. So, moving on. So, and then they get Harry from it's kind of like, the stork steal, like they put it on the doorstep, it's covered in a blanket with a note, like, that. So, yeah, Dumbledore and Minerva, they go to Privet Drive, where the Dursleys live, and they drop off Harry. But they already got another kid, fat-ass Dudley. Dudley. What a name he is. He's a real dud of a child, if I tell you. Harry grows up with these people, and he's really not, appreciated, as what I'm trying to say. He's abused, and he has to live in the cupboard under the stairs. He doesn't get a proper bedroom, even though Dudley gets 2 bedrooms. One that he sleeps in, and one that he keeps his toys in. How spoiled can your child get? So, when Harry turns 11, on Dudley's birthday, they go to the zoo. Uncle Vernon, Aunt Petunia, that's his aunt, or Uncle Vernon's wife, and Dudley and Harry go to the zoo. So, it's all fun and games until Dudley sees one of the big snakes freaking pounding on the glass, like the idiot he is, and Harry makes the glass disappear, and Dudley falls through. And, the Dursleys make a big deal out of this, even though it wasn't something that bad. Well, it's it is bad, but, the snake never hurt him, barely did anything bad to him. So when they get home, Vernon accuses Harry of doing something with it. So, it's the best he can do, right? And so, the next day, Harry's cooking breakfast for all the Dursleys, and Dudley is really fat, so he must have to cook a lot to keep that fat ass going. So, they told him to go get the mail, which is the basic mail service, put it through the door slot, you get it. So, he's just going through it, and he finds something with a big H on it. It's addressed to Harry Potter, to the covered under the stairs. So they're all terrified that their son got this and that they know where he sleeps. Because they've been kind of keeping Harry a secret by this point, right? So they know what happened to, well, like, they know what happened to Harry's real parents. They were killed by Lord Voldemort. But they never told him. They just told him that they were in a car crash and they were idiots and drunks, right? So, like, he never really knew what happened. So, but they know about Hogwarts and the magic world. So they try to hide it. They keep burning the letters. And one day, they're all, like, chilling in the living room and a bunch of friggin' letters flow through the chimney coming down. Because, like, Harry's trying to get them, but Vernon is trying to hold him back from getting all the letters. So Vernon thinks, they can't find us now. So they get in their car and they just freaking take off. They go from, like, hotel to hotel. He keeps getting the letters. And then they think, okay, better idea. We go to a cabin out in the middle of the sea where there's probably the Loch Ness Monster and, like, the Abe Sapiens swimming around. So they think that's a great idea. So they're all chilling there for the night. It's very dark and stormy, and then some dude who looks like Shaquille O'Neal comes in, bangs down the door, and turns out it's our potential giant Hagrid. What a legend. So he comes in, explaining to Harry what he's actually done, and on his 11th birthday, he brings him a cake, and Harry's so thankful because he's never gotten a birthday cake before. It's a very cute scene between them because, like, Hagrid's like 8'6", and little Harry's like 4'9", and so they think, like, he's like there to bring him to Hogwarts and stuff like that because he hasn't been responding to any of the letters. So Dumbledore sent Hagrid to go look for Harry, and he knows where he is. So then Dudley takes a cake out of his hand and starts eating it for some weird reason, and Vernon is cursing at him, like, what are you coming in here for? And then he insults Dumbledore, the headmaster of Hogwarts. And then, this is bad. Like, Hagrid looks at him with, like, the death stare and, like gets real mad at him for insulting Dumbledore. And Vernon Dursley points a gun at him, and he just curves the barrel and shoots out. Like, it was amazing. And also, he gives Dudley a pig's tail, because, like, you know, he had it coming. So, like, yeah, that's what really happened. And they send him to the other room, and Harry actually has a good night's sleep for once. And so they head back. They head back to, like, the mainland, if you want to call it. I don't even know. And so Harry and Hagrid takes them to Diagon Alley, which is like it's like a secret world behind their world. Well, it's not like a secret world. It's like there's a bar called the Leaky Cauldron, and if you tap enough bricks, then, like, the door opens up, and then, like, they can go to Diagon Alley. So that's where, like, Harry gets all his school things. He gets his wand, which is kind of sick. He gets all his books. He gets an owl for his birthday that Hagrid bought him. It's kind of sick. So then he goes back home for another month where he has to put up with them again. So this is all in, like, London, by the way. Harry Potter's a very British book. J.K. Rowling, she lives in London, so it all takes place in the around London atmosphere. So that's kind of cool. And they take them to the big train station. I forget the name. We'll look it up later, but, like, I don't really care right now. It's like 11:47 at night. Why would I care? So they take him to the train station, and his ticket says platform 9 3/4, and they're like, haha, joke on you, Junior. There's no platform 9 3/4, and they speed off without him. So he thinks, this is just going fantastic. And at that time, he meets the Weasley family, which is, like, you know, Ron Weasley and Ginny Weasley, obviously. And they show him how to get platform 9 3/4, which is, incidentally, they have to run into a pillar as fast as they can to, like, teleport, morph through it. I don't know. This is, like, some logic. And imagine being the idiot who saw that and discovered that. It's like, imagine you just hit the wrong one, you just go planting face first in it. So they go to the Wizarding World, and they have to take the Hogwarts Express, which is just a big, like, machine train, like a coal train. And that's where Harry meets Ron, good buddy Ron, what a legend he is. He's part of the Weasley family, which is like a big, like, oh Jesus, I just touched my mic, Jesus Christ. And which is like a big wizarding family, well, not like a big wizarding family, it has like 10 kids. But, like, he meets them, and he also meets Hermione, you know, not Hermione, and Draco Malfoy. I'd rather throw myself down the stairs than talk to Draco Malfoy. And also Neville Longbottom, one of my favorite characters in the series. And Ron and Harry don't really care much for Hermione because she always, like, she's really condescending. She's a real know-it-all. And she made fun of Ron for not performing a spell correctly. Like, come on, man. So they didn't really care for Draco Malfoy because he was, like, a huge bully and is super arrogant and who coincidentally has hair like me. And so, yeah. Neville they liked because he was looking for his frog, Trevor. Who has a frog? Who gets a frog? Like, get a dog or a cat, like a normal human. And so they make it to Hogwarts where they have the big Halloween, the big feast. And that's where they're sorted. They have a big sorting hat they put on top of their head, and they're sorted into houses, which is the Gryffindor, the Hufflepuff, the Slytherin, and the Ravenclaw. Took a BuzzFeed test, by the way. I'm Gryffindor, so. They all line up for the sorting, and Harry gets sorted into Gryffindor, so does Neville, so does Ron, and so does Hermione. But Draco Malfoy gets put into Slytherin, where he belongs. So, like, after that, like, school just goes along as normal until Hagrid. They become really close with Hagrid. And by the way, Hermione, she is not that nice in this first book. Let me put it as that. She's very condescending and very much a know-it-all. Kind of like me, but like, we're not going to talk about that now, are we? So, it moves on, as it will, until Hagrid shows everyone that he got a dragon egg. A dragon egg. Very good leaving the gameskeeper of the school to have a bloodthirsty dragon. Who thought that was a good idea? So they all watch it hatch, and it bites Ron on the hand, which makes it swell up and turn green. So he goes to the hospital wing where Miss Pomfrey, like, yo, Ron, what happened? He's like, oh, a dog bit me, miss, it's alright. So, like, they tend to him, and Malfoy saw the dragon egg hatching through the window of Hagrid's hut, which is like, it's like the big school, and then it's like Hagrid's hut off to the side, like, he's got like a little place there. And so, he was like, man, we'll take you out. And like, he just threatens to snitch on him, right? And so, Harry has a bright idea to duel him at midnight. So, great idea that is. So Malfoy agrees to it, and as Ron's hyping Harry up for the fight, Hermione goes with him because she basically wants to snitch on him. As per usual. And so, yeah, and they like meet all their teachers. Like for potions, they got Severus Snape in the movie, played by Alan Rickman. He is a legend. R.I.P. Alan Rickman. And they got Cornus Quirrell as the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, a weirdo who wears a turban all the time. And who else they got? They got Miss McGonagall for Transfiguration. They got Professor Flitwick for Charms. And I think that's all they have in this first book, because I haven't read the book in a while, I'm not gonna lie. So, a lot of them don't really play a key role unless Snape and Quirrell. Because they have a broom lesson, where basically they learn how to fly that broom for Quidditch. We don't know what Quidditch is. Why am I explaining this to you guys? You don't know. And so Harry becomes really good at it, and Minerva shows the captain of the Gryffindor Quidditch team that, oh, he can play. So, yeah, and also, like, they think Snape did something bad because they thought they were jinxing Harry's broom while he was playing, but turns out it was Quirrell. But, like, we're going to move on to that a little later. So back to the duel that they were going to have. Harry and Ron and Hermione meet to go see Malfoy, and he doesn't show up, obviously, because he just wants to get them in trouble. So basically the janitor, Mr. Filch, he finds them and they freaking sprint. They run. They don't want to be caught by this guy. And they go into a big room where there's a three-headed dog. A giant three-headed dog. Like, I don't like dogs at the best of times, but this is a giant three-headed dog. I don't think this should be allowed in a school with children in it. Very immature children. So Hermione, the only one who notices that there's a trap door under the dog. So the dog had to be guarding something, where the Philosopher's Stone comes in. So, moving right along to that, Hermione notices it, and they all just kind of shrug it off, like, what's the worst that can happen? And then, for that, this, like, skips ahead all the way to Halloween, where the big Halloween feast is, and Professor Quirrell keeps sprinting in, saying that there's a troll got loose in the school. This is a very important key point. So, Ron and Harry, they were talking smack about Hermione earlier. So, she hears about it and goes in the bathroom to cry. As you do. Just like me. Just like me. Well, that's not doing too good, is it? So, she's in the girls' bathroom crying, and the troll wanders into the girls' bathroom, so they think, oh god, Hermione might be there, we gotta say that. And so they go and, like, beat the troll by bugging odds. I don't even know. They're like a bunch of 11-year-olds. How are they supposed to do that? Me, if I saw a troll when I was 11, immediately throw up and immediately pass out. So yeah, like, they save her, and all the teachers come in and say who did it, and Hermione, which is very out of her character, lies to a teacher. She said that she went after the troll and Harry and Ron were just saving her. So, character growth. Right, that worked? Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm doing great with these today. So after that, Ron, Hermione, and Harry become all friends. Because, like, basically, Hermione lied for them, which is, like, a good thing. So, after a while, they think, we're finding out what's under that trap door. And they know it's the Philosopher's Stone because it was stolen from Gringotts Bank a few months earlier. So they think Snape stole it. And he's going after it. So they find out that the way to put Fluffy to sleep, the big three-headed dog that I mentioned earlier, who has a three-headed dog? Who lets that in a school? They learned that they had to play music, so that's what they do. And because like the dog like, charges at them, and then they sing, and then it goes down, and then they go into the trap door. So then they lead to a room where there's a bunch of keys on wings. And they had to find which key gets to the next door. And Harry, using his Quidditch skills, gets on his broom that they somehow found, flies up, gets it, moving along. So in the next one, it's a big chess game. And if you know me, I'm awful at chess. So I would definitely lose this one. So Ron, he decides that he heads up the chess game that he thinks he can win. And in the process, he gets knocked out. So he's gone. But the next room opens, and Ron and Hermione go in. And there's a set of potions on a table. And only one of them can get through. So Harry says, you know what? I will shag it. Why not? So he moves along again. And he sees the Philosopher's Stone. And who steps out of the shadows? But Professor Quirrell. This is one of my favorite parts of the whole book. Because why? I didn't see it coming. I thought it was like a whole time. Even though like subconsciously I knew it wasn't Snape. I thought it was him. Snape put off that vibe. That vibe that looks like he was that weird kid in school that no one truly trusted. So they find out, well, Harry finds out it's Quirrell. So, and then he takes off the turban and he's got Voldemort's face right in the back of his head. Like, man, I don't think a turban can hide that very well. So they find out that Voldemort attacks itself to Quirrell so he can get the Philosopher's Stone so Voldemort can get a full body back. So and then the tussle ensues where Quirrell almost strangles Harry to death, but Harry grabs the Philosopher's Stone and then, like, Quirrell freaking like disintegrates, and along with Voldemort to kind of, he comes back. I'm not explaining this. So then, at the end of the book, like, Gryffindor wins the House Cup. Wow, good for you. They all move along. Harry goes back to his abusive like aunt and uncle and cousin. So I'm gonna talk about what I don't like about this book. There's a lot I don't like about this book. It's a little bit too kiddish for me. Honestly, well, like I can't really blame it. It's meant for 10-year-olds, and I'm 15. And the last book I just read that wasn't Harry Potter was The Green Mile, which was about an execution. The Outsiders, which was about a teenager stabbing a guy. And before that, another Stephen King story. So, like, I always thought it was too good. Just like, where's the swearing? Where's the drinking? Where's the guy pointing guns at each other? I can't really blame that too much because considering I'm 15 and not really the target demographic for this book. Like, I'm really not complaining that much, but a little bit of heavier themes, but like you know what I mean? Like, the ending was the dark part, along with the troll fight, that was really it, and like, it all just kind of moved along. And the writing was weird. I don't know how to describe it. Like, it was not descriptive enough. It gave you the bare minimum of description, which is good depending on what you think of it, but the bare minimum of description that you really don't know what to think of the rest. Like, if you haven't seen the movies, you wouldn't know what to think about it. You know Hogwarts is a big castle, but you would think of a medieval castle, but you wouldn't think of the Hogwarts that's in the movies. Like, it's a really weird kind of mishmash. Like, you wouldn't understand what everything was unless you saw them. Well, like, you would understand, but you wouldn't get a good visual description of everything. And the characters, I find the characters pretty annoying. Like, I thought Harry was annoying. Well, not really Harry. He was, like, fine, but, like, he had that 11-year-old sass to him. Ron was complaining all the time. Hermione was a know-it-all. Draco Malfoy is just irritating in every single movie, so I can't really blame him. Like, he's meant to be the foil for Harry. Foil means the, like, opposite of that person. Like, for example, in Romeo and Juliet, Benvolio is the opposite of Tybalt. Tybalt is the foil of Benvolio. So, like, also that. But I don't know what about this book just put me off in the wrong path. Like, I think it fixes better in the other books, but I don't know. It's just weird. And another point I think I have to bring up is why? No, that's stupid. I can see why so many people like these books, and I can see why Universal Studios has a whole theme park based around it. I think that's amazing. I went to that theme park twice, and the second time I went there, I bought Severus Snape's wand because as a kid, my favorite movie was Die Hard, and Alan Rickman played Hans Gruber, who's a villain of that movie. And all I remembered is Hans Gruber was also Severus Snape, I want Severus Snape's wand. And I was so proud. And in the later books, when I heard about Snape killing Dumbledore and I didn't hear the whole story, I was like, I still love you, dude. Even though he killed the headmaster, I still love him. But yeah, like, I think it was a very okay book, but I think it gets a little bit of a pass because the second one I loved, the third one I loved, and the fourth one I can't really give you a full thing on yet because I'm not done. I'm like 100 pages and then I'm done. So like, I can't really give too much. So I might do a retrospective of all the books. I might do the second book soon, but since next week is Halloween, I might do something Halloween, like I might do like Stephen King story, or I might do John Carpenter's Halloween. You can put down in the comments what you guys want to see for like a Halloween based thing. I'll probably do anything as long as enough people comment on it or want to see something Halloween. I'll do anything. I'll watch anything. I won't read anything because like I probably won't have enough time unless it's like a short story. Like I'll watch anything. I'll listen to anything. I'll do anything. I'll like see something on YouTube that you guys want me to see and talk about. I'll do anything like that. So I'm gonna let you guys do the whole Halloween special thing. I want you guys to put something down in the comments that you want me to do, and I'll try to do that. If enough people vote like yes or no on it, I will do that. So, yeah. It's great to be back doing this stuff. I know you guys, probably a lot of you don't really like it that much, which is fine. If you don't like my stuff, you don't have to. You don't have to watch it. It's not just because, like, I have an ego or whatever you want to call it, but you don't have to watch it if you don't want to. But thank you so much for sticking with me this whole time. And I'm that Stone Kid, and goodbye.